I've been giving these presentations for about 15 years, educating dieters on how to do things the right way. When corporations bring me in to give these lunch and learns and these corporate workshops, the primary purpose is to talk about fat loss. Because as you guys can imagine, what are most people's goals right now? To lose body fat. And so we're going to talk about the up-to-date information that's out there. If you're anything like me, you want to be educated. I want to know, what are the statistics, what are the facts, what's the recent research showing? Because there's so many trends. Would you guys agree with that? Every time you turn on the TV, the radio, we don't listen to radio anymore, do we? It's internet, it's satellite. No, but it's not the AM, FM. Every time you turn on the TV, there's a new advertisement, there's an infomercial, and so dieters are bombarded with information, and you end up with a lot of confused, frustrated dieters. By the time I get a chance to sit down with someone, either one-on-one or in a workshop like this, their head's been filled with so much misinformation, diet trends, pseudoscience, lies and advertisements that they don't know what to do. And it turns out that most of these dieters that have failed to hit their goals never suffered from a lack of motivation. They suffered from a lack of information. They were already motivated, but they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. And so as a product of that, a lot of the time that they spent dieting and exercising was spent doing the wrong things. And so that's what we're here to do, is try to lay the groundwork for success in fitness. Introducing our team real quick. This was us 2 years ago. This was us a year ago. As you see, we're growing. We're a little bigger than that now. It's been fun to be a part of, to say the least. It's really been a neat experience. What I love most about my job today is I get to stand toe-to-toe with some of the most inspiring, motivating fitness professionals, and actually get to work hand in hand with these people. We're up to 5 locations, still primarily in Utah, but just this last year opened the door to working with clients nationwide. So we've upgraded our technologies, getting an app on the market so that we can really work with clients long distance as well. When I give these workshops, I don't get into what we offer as a company very much. That's not the primary purpose of the workshop. And so I'm only going to take a quick second to introduce the program. But I found it's important, as I'm giving the information, that you guys know who we are and what we do, because we have a lot of experience in taking people from start to finish. Everybody's seen before and after photos, right? You almost get sick of them because there's, like I said, the market's flooded with them. And so I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of before and after photos, but what I am going to do is actually show you from start to finish the nutritional techniques, the strategies, both in diet and exercise, that allowed us to take someone from a plateau and get to their fitness goal. Now remember, most of our clients were already working out. Our average client was already dieting, was already exercising, but for some reason, what they were doing wasn't working, was not producing results, and it's our job to be the experts that'll help them break that plateau and get them to achieve whatever it is they want. And for every client, that's a little bit different. So we've been doing this for a long time. Like I said, as a company, upwards of 15 years. Started in Utah. We're a referral-based company, which is important for you guys to know. The reason we're growing is not because we're really good at advertising. It's because our average client hits the goals in the time frame we promised and learns what they need to maintain them. And you're going to get a little bit of that information, get as much as I can of that education tonight. So before we start the workshop, I think this is the most important question we can address, and that is, why don't diets work? Has anyone thought about this question? It's interesting because when I got into the industry, some of the same statistics that they showed then are still relevant today, and that is that there's a 95% failure rate in dieting. I don't know if you guys know that, but 95% of all dieters that lose weight end up just gaining it back plus more inside of 1 year, 95%. So, it's a good question. Why aren't diets working? Because on average, dieters are failing. They're losing weight, gaining it back, losing weight and gaining it back. So this is from the Journal of American Medicine. And this is what they did. They looked at all the most common diet trends on the market right now. Now, what are some of the diet trends? What are some of the things your friends do to lose weight? And you don't have to, if you don't want to admit what you've tried, you can talk about your friends. Atkins diet, that's a big one. HCG is a big one, which is a low-carb diet. Or actually, Atkins is a low-carb diet, and HCG is just a really low-calorie diet. Do you guys know the calories you're allowed on that one? 500. Does that sound like a lifestyle to anyone in here? So for tonight's purposes, just to kind of simplify the conversation, anything you don't think you could do as a lifestyle, we're going to call a crash diet. okay? So they looked at all the most common trends. They looked at the Atkins diet. They looked at the low-carb diets, and this is what they found. The average dieter at 200 pounds had about 30% body fat. Now this is for males. Females are anywhere from 7 to 10% higher on average, and they're supposed to be. But the average male was about 30% body fat, which means at 200 pounds he has about 60 pounds of fat and 140 pounds of lean body mass. So they took the typical crash dieter and found, how long do you think the average dieter was lasting on these diets? 10 days. What, 10 days? Did someone say that? Probably close. That's about how long, Nick, you lasted the first time? Or they found the average dieter was anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Have you guys seen the advertisements, lose 30 pounds in 30 days? So that's what they found. They found the average dieter was knocking about 30 pounds off, anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks on one of these crash diets. But they found on average, he was still about 30% body fat. So what they found is the average dieter, 2/3 of the weight loss was lean tissue, and only 1/3 of the weight loss was actually fat. So this is what they called skinny fat. Can you guys kind of see that? And so the question is, why is this dieter losing so much lean tissue and only a little bit of body fat? Now this guy at 200 pounds hasn't been 170 pounds since high school. So when he loses 30 pounds, he feels really good. He's excited. He's getting on the scale. He weighs 30 pounds less. But he doesn't understand why his inches haven't gone down very much. You know, he certainly doesn't look like he did in high school at 170 pounds. So when he gains the weight back, he usually says, you know, I've lost weight before you know, I know how to lose weight. I've done it before, but I didn't look very good. I didn't feel very good. Well, this is the effect that this is going to have on his metabolism. You guys know that muscle is what supports your metabolism, right? So this guy used to have 140 pounds of muscle, but after this crash diet, now he only has 119. So this means he used to have a metabolism that could support 3,000 calories a day. Now he's only got a metabolism that can support 2,000. So is he going to be able to keep the weight off if his metabolism is only running at 2,000 calories a day? No. So what happens in 1 year time or less? He gains it back. Plus, does he just go back to 200 pounds? What do you guys think happens? Now he's 220 pounds. Now he's 40% body fat. And that's what's happening on average. That is the yo-yo trend. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, why is this happening so frequently? And how do we prevent it? Why is the average dieter losing more lean tissue than fat? And ultimately gaining his weight back, and how do we prevent it? So this is one of the problems that we face in the diet industry right now. Most dieters get excited about every pound they lose on the scale. But when we lose weight on the scale, we're not just losing fat, right? When we get on the scale in the morning, what are we weighing? We're weighing fat mass, but we're also weighing lean body mass. We're weighing water. We're weighing the clothes, even undigested food. So we love our morning scale body weight, you know, because we love to see how little we weigh in the morning, and we get so frustrated about how much we weigh in the afternoon or the evening. But the reality is, when we're weighing ourselves, we're weighing all these different things. And so the scale by itself is not a good enough system for tracking results, for tracking success. So I'm going to give you some other tools before we're done. So now what we want to do, I want to illustrate what we want to see happen, and then show you guys how we're going to do it. But you could take that same dieter, Mr. Jones, who's 200 pounds, 30% body fat, at 60 pounds of fat, 140 pounds of lean body mass, and I'm going to get him down to 170 pounds, just like what he did in the crash diet, but I'm going to do it the right way, and I'm actually going to build muscle during this process. And if I'm building muscle through this process and using some better systems, I'm going to get him to 170 pounds at 10%, which means he's going to have 17 pounds of fat and 153 pounds of lean body mass. Now remember, muscle is what supports your metabolism. The more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism is going to run 24 hours a day. So if he puts on 13 pounds of muscle, his metabolism is going to run 1,000 calories a day faster. So, and we can actually show that in examples with clients anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks. They're eating it 700 calories a day more, 800 calories a day more, sometimes 1,000 calories a day more when they're done, and actually keeping the body fat off. So that's the benefit of building the lean tissue. It's one of the most important things we can address before we start a fat loss goal. And in the diet industry, it's almost never addressed. It's almost never looked at. So before we start any diet, we need to actually, you know, as you can imagine, you know, when a dieter comes in and we do a free assessment and we say, what's your goal, Mr. Jones? They almost always want to tell us right away how much weight they want to lose. But as a fitness professional, one of the first things we need to do is actually assess how much muscle they have and to determine what the muscle gaining goal should be with the fat loss goal so that we can really drive a fast metabolism. So to run a good program, we need to make sure that we have a balance of all 5 components. We need to have the right diet, the right cardio plan, the right supplements if we're going to use supplements, the right amount of weight training, and then we have to have some way of managing their results, tracking their success, more than just what the scale shows. Because I already showed you how the scale is not going to give us enough information. We need to look at actual body fat. Okay, the second biggest lie in the diet industry, and actually as shown by the Journal of American Medicine, the #1 cause of plateaus and weight loss today is that most dieters truly believe that the less they eat, the faster they're going to lose weight. And I'm going to say that again because this is actually, now we're introducing the first and most important subject of tonight's workshop. I want you guys to think back to your high school nutrition class when you were introduced to the idea of weight loss. You were taught that the less you eat, the faster you're going to lose weight. We were actually taught the first law of thermodynamics, which states it was a calories in versus calories out. Does that sound familiar to you guys? As long as you're eating less than you're expending, you should lose weight. So most dieters have tried this on their own and found that even when they're cutting their calories down, for some reason, the weight loss has a tendency to stop. They experience plateaus. Has anyone in here ever lost weight and then hit that plateau? So this is how most dieters approach weight loss. They truly believe the less I eat, the faster I'll lose weight. But that's not what the research shows. The research shows quite the opposite. What the research shows is that starvation can damage your metabolism. And so I asked dieters, have you ever had a personal experience with this? And most dieters recognize that when they've lost weight in the past, for some reason, even though their calories were plenty low, it just slowed down. So why does this keep happening? The reason this happens so frequently is because your metabolism is constantly changing. Most people have never really been educated about their metabolism, but your metabolism doesn't just change over the course of years or months, but your metabolism is changing on a daily basis. On a daily basis, your metabolism is either speeding up or slowing down depending on what your body's experiencing. If your body's experiencing a plentiful food supply, your metabolism can speed up. If your body is experiencing starvation, your metabolism slows down. So it's really important that we use nutritional strategies that'll actually stimulate a fast metabolism. And like I said, this is one of the biggest secrets in the diet industry today. This is one of the areas where there's the least amount of education, and it's one of the most important subjects that we can address tonight. So how do we speed your metabolism up? Why doesn't calorie counting always work? Why doesn't it work the same for every dieter? Why doesn't it work the same the entire 12 weeks? The things that can change your metabolism is the environment. Your body will respond to the environment. We know this to be true. If you're in a cold environment for an extended period of time, your body can adapt and learn how to live in a cold environment. If you're in a warm environment for an extended period of time, your body can adapt and learn how to live in a warm environment. Well, what do you think happens if you put your body in an environment where there's no food? How's your body going to respond? It can actually slow its own metabolism down to try to learn how to survive with less food. What other things can affect your metabolism? Your hormones. You guys know this because you've seen the advertisements. Are you tired? Are you not losing any weight? Do you not have any friends? Get your hormones checked. Have you heard the ads? Well, so hormones can affect weight gain and weight loss, but it's not true that you have to get on a drug to fix them all the time. Most of the hormones that can actually speed your metabolism up, healthy hormone production, can actually happen through nutrition. So it's true that hormones can affect your metabolism, but it's not true that we always have to get a prescription to fix them. Other things that can affect your metabolism: change in lean body mass. If you build muscle, your metabolism speeds up. If you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. Hydration levels. Most dieters had no idea, but by increasing water intake, you can actually speed up fat loss. It's an incredible strategy. pH levels affect your metabolism. If your body's acidic, your metabolism slows down. If your body's more balanced, it can speed up. So you might ask yourself, well, what are the things that make my body acidic? Carbonation, lack of sleep, stress, fast food, processed food, sugary foods, but nobody in here has any of that stuff, right? Everybody's sleeping good, no carbonation. So this can actually slow down weight loss. Your body could be so acidic that it's not metabolizing fat, even if you're dieting and exercising. So that's why this is so important. As fitness professionals, we have to go beyond just making sure our clients' calories are low, and we have to look at all these other components that are going to affect the speed of their metabolism. Okay, why else doesn't calorie counting always work? And to create some clarification, I'm not saying calorie counting doesn't work. Why doesn't it work the same all the time? This might be interesting to you, but not all calories are the same. Your body burns a lot of calories digesting some foods, and it burns almost no calories digesting other foods. I'll give you an example. An egg white has 16 calories. If it's hard boiled, you burn 17 calories digesting it. If it's scrambled, you only burn 1 calorie digesting it. So just making sure that foods are in what's called a thermogenic state can allow you to speed up fat loss. You burn more calories digesting raw foods than cooked foods. You burn more calories digesting foods in solid form than liquid form. So you actually burn more calories digesting 200 calories of chicken breast than you do 200 calories from a protein shake. So again, we can actually take the diet and actually make sure the foods are in a better thermogenic state and speed up fat loss. So we don't want to blend everything, we don't want to juice everything. We want to make sure that we're getting some of that stuff in its raw, more natural state. Moving forward, let's talk a little bit about this calorie counting concept, because we see this at our office all the time. This is what we call the Mrs. Jones graph. Mrs. Jones is an illustration of our typical client, someone who's been dieting. She's gone through enough crash diet trends that she's damaged her metabolism. She's barely eating 1,200 calories a day, and she's actually gaining weight. Now this happens, she'll actually come in, she's been doing MyFitnessPal online, she's been tracking her calories, and so she has a pretty good idea of how much she's eating, but she's got tears in her eyes. She's actually claiming she's gaining weight even though she's hardly eating anything. The fact of the matter is that you can damage your metabolism enough that this actually happens. And within a couple weeks, we're using thermogenic food combinations. We've got her eating 1,400 calories and actually losing weight. So you can speed your metabolism up that much and actually lose weight faster at a higher calorie setting if we use better nutritional strategy. So I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to actually simplify the information I just gave you and put it into 3 rules that are going to help you organize your diet. Now, when dieters experience good results, they always ask us, they say, how do I put this together myself? What are the rules that I need to learn so I can maintain these results for life? And it breaks down to these 3 rules. Rule number 1, you want to eat frequently. These 3 rules can really be looked at the most important principles in speeding your metabolism up. Frequent eating is one of the best ways to keep your metabolism healthy. Now this doesn't mean you necessarily have to eat exactly 5 times a day. The rule is you want to eat the second you wake up and every 2 to 3 hours. But the more frequently you eat, the faster your metabolism can run. Frequent eating is also one of the best ways to help you maintain muscle. You guys remember the first graph I put out where the average dieter loses muscle? Well, if your body feels starved, your muscle is going to atrophy. But if you're getting protein 5 to 6 times a day, then you're going to be more likely to maintain your muscles. For a lot of reasons, frequent eating is critical. Rule number 2, you want to have balanced ratios. You want estimately 50% of your calories from carbohydrates, 30% of your calories from protein, and 20% of your calories from fat. Now, what's the most common diet trend in the industry right now? There's a lot of different forms, low carb dieting, right? So in any diet trend, they'll try to eliminate one of these macronutrients. And then the problem is that each one of those macronutrients is critical. So in the 90s, it was low fat diets. Do you guys remember that? And they'd cut out all the fats. Do you guys remember any of the health problems associated with cutting all the fat out of the diet? I mean, it was osteoporosis, bone disease, heart disease, kidney failure. You can't just cut all the fat out of your diet because that's where healthy hormone production comes from. And then moving forward, we got into low carb diets. And we said, all right, that's the problem. Let's cut out all the carbs. Well, that's your body's primary source of energy. So if we want to develop a meal plan that's going to allow you to sustain good energy, maintain your muscle, and prevent plateaus, we want to have a balance of these macronutrients every time you eat. So this is the best up-to-date research on how to keep your metabolism healthy and how to make sure you're absorbing protein and maintaining your muscle. So 50% carbs, 30% protein, 20% fat. I know a lot of the diet trends conflict with that, but that's good information. That's, again, like I said, the best that science has to offer. And any of the before and after photos we could show you, those are the ratios that we use to produce the results that we did. Okay, so frequent eating, controlled ratios, and then rule number 3 in nutrition, and this is the one that I could say most of my clients were unaware of until I introduced it to them. But you want to make sure that your calories are distributed based on your energy expenditure. Every time before you eat, you want to stop and think, what am I going to be doing for the next 2 to 3 hours of my life? And then you want to base your calories accordingly. So if you're going to be more active, you want to eat more. If you're going to be less active, you need to eat less. So frequent eating, calories distributed evenly. So let's take a look at an average dieter's day. This is what an average dieter would do. And this is someone with a well-designed meal plan that's dropping body fat. The average dieter would eat for a male about 2,000 calories to lose weight. So he wakes up in the morning, he's a little bit more active, he's rushing around the house. So let's give him 500 calories for breakfast. Most of you guys have heard that breakfast needs to be one of the larger meals of the day. Would you agree with that? So you've heard that. But if you take a look at this time of day, he's less active. He's sitting in front of the computer. So should I give him a giant meal? Probably not if he's sedentary. So at a desk job, 300 calories, 300 calories. So we're distributing the calories depending on how much he's moving around, how much he's using it. And then he goes to the gym at this time of the day. He's motivated, so he's working out hard. He's hired a trainer. He's doing weight training, cardio, 700 calories before he works out. Now his body's not going to store it as fat. It needs it to build and repair muscle. Then he comes home, he's winding down, he's going to bed soon. Does he need a lot of calories if he's going to be sleeping? No, so dinner should be one of the smallest meals of the day, so 200 calories. Now that's a good meal plan. Someone who spaces their calories out like that is going to prevent all cravings. They're going to maintain their muscle. They're not going to have any drops in blood sugar. They're going to feel good throughout the day. We're going to be able to prevent plateaus. That's good calorie distribution. The problem is that is not what your average dieter is doing. Would you guys agree? Let's take a look at what your average dieter is doing, and you guys tell me if you can see the problem. The average person who wakes up in the morning, their only focus is eating less, right? So they wake up in the morning, their only strategy is that I'm going to eat as little as I can today. So they wake up in the morning, do they even eat breakfast? Why would they? If they want to lose weight, they think calories are the enemy, so they skip breakfast. Then a couple hours goes by, they get to work, and they're getting hungry, but they try to grab something healthy, something quick. What do they grab? What? A muffin? An egg McMuffin? An apple? Okay, so 100 calories. And then lunchtime rolls around, and they're trying to grab something healthy. They're motivated, they're getting hungry, but they try to grab something healthy. What do they grab? Salad, thank you. That's all the time. 9 times out of 10, when I'm reviewing meal plans from people who haven't started the diet, they go, well, I know I'm eating healthy, I'm eating apples, I'm eating salads. It's always a salad. Okay, and then this meal they skip again. Remember, your average dieter is not eating 6 times a day or 5 times a day, 2 or 3 meals at the most. So then he goes to the gym on an empty stomach, he works out hard, weight training, cardio, gets his butt kicked, comes home and he is starving. Can you guys see that? Does this ever happen to you? He's starving. He's gone throughout the day, he's eaten as healthy as he can, he's worked out hard, and gosh dang it, wouldn't you know it, someone brought home pizza. You know this is true, this has happened, right? So someone brought home pizza, he's looking at that pizza, he's thinking, I don't want to eat it, but how does he justify eating it? What is he thinking in his head? Yeah, I haven't eaten very much today, plus what? Yeah, I just got done working out, so I can have a little pizza, it's not going to hurt me. So 2,000 calories later, if you guys haven't looked up the nutrition facts on pizza, I can promise you that's not very hard, and that's without liquid calories. 2 to 3 hours later, when his body's finally ready to utilize those calories, what is he doing? Sleeping. What is his body doing with the calories? Storing them as fat, that's right. And 3 weeks later, he's sitting in front of me, he's going, Rick, I don't know why I'm not losing any weight. I'm working out every day, I'm eating apples and salads, and I'm not losing weight. And he can't see the problem. Do you guys see the problem? The real killer is this is the fastest way to get fat, and this is what people are doing right now to try to lose weight. And this is the fastest way to gain weight. If someone were to ask me, hey Rick, what's the fastest way to get fat? I'd say it's simple. Just starve yourself all day long until your metabolism's completely shot, eat 2,000 calories and go to sleep. And this is happening all the time. This is happening in programs that people are paying for. This is happening in a lot of basic calorie counting systems. Because people are thinking my only job is to reduce my calories and increase my exercise, and I should hit my goal at some point. But they're going through these tactics that are actually devastating their metabolism. And you guys can see in this example, because he's not eating protein frequently throughout the day, if he is losing weight, what kind of weight is he losing? He's losing muscle. He's not losing fat in a diet like this. If he's losing weight at all, he's losing muscle. So this is what we're trying to prevent. This is a basic, simple layout. We need to get more effective and actually start to look at what each meal how each meal needs to be designed. But the problem in the industry today is not that people are suffering from lack of motivation, they're suffering from lack of guidelines. So even people that are eating apples that they hate and forcing salads down are still not dropping when we can clean up a few things and get them moving really quick. Okay, I'm going to talk about one more problem in the diet industry, and then I'll open the door up to some questions. But this is the second biggest cause of plateaus, and what we call in this workshop the third biggest lie, the third biggest problem in the diet industry. But it's shown by the Journal of American Medicine, the second biggest cause of plateaus and weight loss today, and that's the overtraining effect. So if I don't take a few minutes and talk about the overtraining effect, I'm not doing my job for you tonight, and I want to make sure I'm doing my job for you. Overtraining is the second biggest cause of plateaus. Now this has been shown, there was a research study done in 2010 out of Harvard. This was on marathon runners. This is what they found. They took a look at the average marathon runner, and they found that the average marathon runner had a slow metabolism. Now this is fascinating because if you've ever thought that weight loss was primarily through aerobic activity, this study should be very interesting to you. But they looked at the average marathon runner and found that they had OTS, which is short for overtraining syndrome. So when they looked at the average marathon runner, they found that they had slow metabolisms, loss of lean tissue, which you guys can imagine. So even though a lot of these marathon runners weren't really big people, their lean body mass was really, really low. They had high levels of cortisol. Now, are you guys familiar with this hormone? Does that sound familiar? Cortisol is the hormone that your body produces to help you replenish the fat storage. It's a stress hormone, and cortisol, I can tell you, is the enemy of fat loss. And so they found the average marathon runner had high levels of this hormone, and it was actually forcing their body to hold on to fat. So it was almost as if the body was saying, gosh dang it, this guy ran 10 miles yesterday, he did it again today, and in case he does it again tomorrow, I better what? I better hold on to whatever fat I've got. So it was trying to respond to the environment, okay? So this is an example. This is a client I had an opportunity to work with myself. This is Bill, marathon runner, came in. He was really frustrated when I did his initial body fat because he said, Rick, I'm running every day. He said, I haven't missed a day of running in 20 years. I literally run every day. I eat salads, I eat apples. He laid out his diet for me, as you can imagine. And he said, if I'm not losing any body fat now, what are you going to do for me that's so much different that's going to get me to start dropping? So make a long story short, I applied the FIT principle, and I took him through a training program where I had to consistently change frequency, intensity, time, and type. So on a weekly basis, we have to adjust all these different components to keep shocking his body. So from week 1 to week 2, I actually had him riding the bike because his body wasn't used to the bike. Can you see that? And then I had him jump roping, treadmill, elliptical machine, but I kept changing the type of stress I was putting on his body so his body couldn't adapt to it. I also had to increase his calories. One of the problems that causes the overtraining effect or the starvation effect is that people will increase the amount of stress they're putting on their body, but they decrease their calories at the same time. If you're increasing your stress levels, but decreasing your calories, at this point where those two lines cross, the overtraining effect is going to occur and your body's going to fight to hold on to every little bit of body fat you have left. And that in a nutshell is what's causing so many of the plateaus that we see today. And so what we have to do to run a good program, we need to make sure that we're frequently on a weekly basis changing time, intensity, duration, level, frequency, mode, everything we can do to shock your body and keep your metabolism healthy. Calories need to increase as we're increasing your metabolism, and we need to make sure we're building muscle. So from start to finish, he put about 10 pounds of muscle on. His average diet by the time we were done was 700 calories a day higher than the ones we started with, and he got to see his abs for the first time in his life. And he said that he hadn't seen his abs since high school. He couldn't remember if he saw him in high school, so he certainly didn't expect to see him at this age. He thought that he was going to be stuck where he was at, but to be honest with you, he just needed some better nutritional strategy. So I got him eating 6 meals a day. I ran the exercise program a little bit better, and we were able to knock all that off. So we have to stay away from overtraining. I'm going to tie things up and see what questions you guys have. One of the first and most important steps that anyone can take before they pursue a fitness goal is to actually get an assessment done. You want to make sure that you know that you're educated on your body, where you're at, before you decide to move forward. Before we write the first diet, before we write the first workout plan, we need to find out how much lean body mass you have, where your body fat's actually at, and then where it should be. Like I said, muscle is what drives your whole metabolism. So if your muscle's low, that could be part of what's causing your slow metabolism today. So we actually need to look at, based on your height, where your muscle should be and help you get it back to where it was. So we'll actually do a body fat test, compare it to your body weight. And by the way, this is free. This is just that initial 30 minutes. It takes us 30 minutes. We can do this over the phone. We can do it by Skype. We can do it in our office, one of our 5 locations. But you want to have this graph put together for you so that you know what you need to get done and how long it's going to take. Whether you have a 12-week goal or an 18-week goal, and then we can start walking you through and taking a look at the diet. Now you will see all 3 rules that I talked to you about in Nutrition Applied. Frequent eating, proper food combinations, even calorie distribution. Those are the 3 rules. So we'll actually go through each meal. We can take a look at what you're currently doing and let you know what we would adjust to start stimulating a faster metabolism. So this is really empowering. This is really exciting for most people who've never had a free assessment with an actual fitness professional to actually have this laid out for you so that you can actually see what you might be doing wrong and what you could do different to start stimulating a response. This is really educational. This is really important. So if you're already a client, you've actually had a chance to do this with a fitness professional, and you would probably tell your friends and family members that you learned a lot and how helpful that was. If you're not a client, if nothing else, take advantage of the free information that's available to you in an initial assessment. I guarantee it's going to help you out. We can answer questions about what your workout should look like, what the diet should look like. This is my mother-in-law, so this is a 12-week program I had a chance to run. She said it's okay to show her picture every once in a while. We're allowed to do that, right, mother-in-law? So, but like I said, the first step is to actually have this graph done for you. We have an application online. We can get you the link. You can actually do this for free. All you'll need is your height, your weight, your age. You can enter in this information, your neck measurement, your waist measurement, your hip measurement. It'll calculate a body fat for you, and then it'll help project your goal. But if you really want to get questions answered, you want to get with one of our coaches so we can actually explain the graph to you and start answering questions about where we go from here. So anyway, I hope tonight was helpful. I hope some of the information was helpful. Like I said, we love education. Our passion is helping people. So thanks for taking the time. And let's see what question you guys got. Thanks for coming.